to keep the government shut down.
What is John Thune doing?
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says Republicans keep bringing up the same bill, expecting a different result.
After 5 failed votes, Republicans should understand they cannot go forward unless we come to a bipartisan agreement.
Chief Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer blames House Speaker Mike Johnson, who in turn says this is entirely on Schumer's gang to end.
We are pleading with the Democrats in the Senate to do the right thing.
Meantime, the Trump administration warns all federal workers are not guaranteed back pay after the shutdown ends, reversing long-standing policy.
For the most part, we're going to take care of our people.
But the president says others don't deserve that. Thune says he's not sure what the president meant.
My assumption is that furloughed workers will get back pay.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
National Guard troops from Texas are positioned at an Army Reserve center in Illinois, despite a lawsuit.
Chicago's a great city, but you can't be a great city if you have murders and if you have a lot of problems, and they do.
The president has defied opposition from the governor of Illinois and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who says the administration has shared little information.
This is what is so difficult about this moment.
This is AP News. AP correspondent Ed Donahue reports on lower-priced Teslas.
Tesla is rolling out 2 cheaper versions of its electric car models. In an attempt to boost slumping sales, Tesla is selling the new Model Y for just under $40,000 with a stripped-down interior. There's also a cheaper version of the Model 3 for under $37,000. Tesla's faced anti-Elon Musk boycotts and competition from foreign electric vehicle makers. The reaction from the stock market after the news broke suggests the new models are not expected to help much. Edmunds analyst Ivan Drury says investors were looking for something truly different, not an iteration of an old product. I'm Ed Donahue.
3 scientists have won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for their development of metal organic frameworks. One expert compared their work to Hermione Granger's enchanted handbag from the Harry Potter series. More on this and other stories at apnews.com. I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Daytime highs approaching 63 today under mainly sunny skies, northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 45 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 65 tomorrow, bright sunshine. A mix of clouds and sunshine and dry Friday and Saturday, upper 60s, Friday, low 70s by Saturday. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 52 degrees.
WCPT will be broadcasting a live in-person Union Strong panel on Wednesday, October 15th from 3 to 5 p.m. And you're invited. Join me, Tom Hartman, and WCPT's morning host, Richard Chu, at the Ironworkers Local 63 Training Center in Broadview. Panelists include Paul Wendy from Ironworkers Local 63, Rob Fulton from Riggers Local 136, Cliff Horowitz from Horowitz & Associates, Andy Rico from IBEW Local 176, and Tom Villanova from Southland Friends of Labor. This event is proudly sponsored by Ironworkers Local 63, Riggers Local 136, Horowitz & Associates, IBEW Local 176, and Southland Friends of Labor. Wednesday, October 15th from 3 to 5 p.m., Ironworkers Local 63 Training Center, 2523 Lexington Street in Broadview. That's just off the 25th Street exit on the Eisenhower Expressway. All listeners must register to attend this free event at WCPT820.com. Just click on the banner.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
It's Chew's Views with Richard Chew. Filling in today for Richard Chew. Co-host of the Family Meeting, event planner, and champion for democracy, Michelle Peltier.
Good morning, WCPT listeners. Happy Wednesday, October 8th. Yes, I have returned one more day. I'm happy to be here, and I am with Henry today. Hi, Henry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Michelle?
I'm so glad to see you.
Me too.
I was with Devin Monday and Tuesday, and he was wonderful. His poor allergies were, as we talked about, kicking his booty yesterday. His face was all swollen, poor thing.
That guy's crazy. I don't know how he's alive right now.
I know.
He's always breaking.
I love it. I love it. Well, fall has finally entered the building, I think. We've been spoiled. I've been happy, but I've been a little scared because it's weird, right? And so now we're back to normal. I still didn't know what to put on today, though, because I was like, it might get hot. So, yes, folks, I am in today, one more day, and the rest of the week filling in for my friend and the man that you actually listened to instead of me, Richard Chu. He's on a much-needed vacation with his lovely wife, Ann. And he'll be back on Monday, though, so not to worry. Our lines are open. Give us a call or send us a text on our Credo mobile text line, 773-763-9278. And today, live, local, and progressive, John St. Augustine will be in for Joan Esposito, and his guests will include Bill Curtis and Jen Weigel. Plus, he'll be playing some Jane Goodall audio, live, local, and progressive, weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT AM, heartlandsignal.com, and tune in. I tell you, I was a fan of Jane Goodall, too. And I was actually going to wrap up the week by playing a couple of clips for her. Did you see the special that they made? I think it's on Netflix, right before she passed. And she knew she was getting ready to leave this plane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the message that she gave, she knew we were going to be in trouble. She's like, y'all need to get it together because I'm getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty haunting, but she was such a lovely person. I'm going to go off track. But before I do that, I want to tell you I'm excited that we have two guests today. We have, of course, our friend Kurt Mullett from Who's Your Blue 63. I got a surprise for him. I'm going to put him on the spot in a good way. I'm excited to talk to him. And then we're going to have Anita Brikman, president and CEO of the Plaza Protein Therapeutics Association. Now, there's all kinds of things going on in the world that we have no idea about, right? This was one of them. Interesting reading. I mean, I'm looking forward to talking to her, too. So we're in for a good day. You guys give me a call. It's Wednesday. You guys should be up and prepared. And if you're still here with me today, you know the deal. You know that you should call me. Listen, I also want to mention something else. I was listening to the show before us, Matt McNeil, and he was talking about something that I've been talking about for a long time and nobody listens to me, and it's that the Communications Act. And he was talking about how we need to figure out a way to bust up or not all, there's 3? I didn't realize Heartland used to be Clear Channel.
I didn't either, and I work here.
Right? I think that's what he said, because one of them gobbled up and turned themselves into Heartland because they knew that we knew who they were. So, come on, people. That's another thing we need to pay attention to because, all of this media combined, this is why, we almost lost Jimmy Kimmel. Right?
Yeah, true.
So we can't be messing around with our communications because we were getting ready to enter the dark lands. And so we need to get it together as much as we possibly can. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I also have something else I would like to share with everybody because this just happened last night. And if somebody wants to call and talk about it, I'd love to talk about it. So this is from Axios. This came out earlier this morning. And it says, former Representative Jesse Jackson Jr. formally launched his comeback bid for Congress on Tuesday. saying in a video shared with Axios, he needs to get back on the playing field and fight for my constituents. Why it matters? A poll that Jackson's exploratory committee released last month suggests he is a strong contender for the seat he resigned in 2013 before being convicted and imprisoned for stealing campaign funds. The seat, which covers part of South Chicago and the rural and suburban counties to the south, is coming open as Representative Robin Kelly runs for the United States Senate seat. Jackson joins a crowded field of Democrats vying for the seat, including State Senators Robert Peters and Willie Pearson, Cook County Commissioner Donna Miller, Water Reclamation District Commissioner Yumika Brown, and policy strategist Adal Regis. I tell you, he must have some real positive feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe it's just name recognition. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm stunned.
Me too. No, it's crazy.
You know, go with God, Jesse Jackson Jr. Good luck to you. I don't know. I wonder, I do believe, Henry, that people can grow and change and evolve, right? I do. I think everybody should be given the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, get the grace and,
Yeah, absolutely. But should you go back to do exactly the same thing you were doing before you got in trouble?
Right,
Yeah,
right. Kind of gives that they're not learning lessons or interpreting,
Right. Or let's ask for some, I don't know if he's ever asked for forgiveness or said he's sorry. I don't know.
That kind of goes a long way, too, to kind of,
Yeah, because if he says it now, it doesn't count.
Right.
Okay. I do have some other Choose Views news that I actually would like to share because I think it's important since we don't get jobs numbers anymore because, the administration doesn't want everybody to know what a sucky job they do.
Yeah, why would we need to know that?
Right. All the homeless people and the, people looking for jobs, they don't want people to know that that's happening.
Relevant.
Anyway, this comes from Bloomberg. The Carlyle Group, the investment manager whose portfolio companies employ more than 700,000 people globally, is stepping into the economic data void left by the U.S. government shutdown with a grim read on the labor market. The U.S. Labor Department's September employment report, whose scheduled release on October 3rd, was among those that have been postponed since the shutdown began last week, was expected by economists in a Bloomberg poll to show a 54,000 increase in non-farm payrolls from August's total of 159 million. Carlyle estimates that just 17,000 jobs were created, among the weakest results since the U.S. economy emerged from the 2020 recession.
Wow. Good signs. only getting better. If COVID's what we're comparing to, damn.
Come on, right? Carlyle for more than a decade has been calculating its own estimates of U.S. GDP, consumer spending, and inflation to serve as timely proxies when government data is delayed or unavailable. Thank you, Carlyle. And has released them selectively from time to time in that circumstance. I don't know. It's all bad.
Yeah, I know. It's nothing positive. Nobody's headlines ever are at this point.
Except, and I know you didn't listen to it, my interview yesterday with John Fugelsang. It was the best.
There we go. That was very positive. Absolutely.
I did a good job, I think.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Myself. So you want to take a break and we'll come right back?
Let's do it.
All right. Call in, you guys. See you in a second.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
Call 800-838-8614. 800-838-8614. That's 800-838-8614.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
It's Chew's Views. Filling in for Richard Chew, it's Michelle Peltier.
Good morning. Welcome back. You see me smiling. I love to hear my intro. Our Credo phone and text lines are open. Give us a call at 773-763-9278. Tonight on Driving It Home, Dan Schaefer will be in for Patty Vasquez. Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez, weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So we're going to wait to do the Pritzker thing. Okay. So can we do the Black Father one? Okay. So listen, excuse me. For those of you who listen to the Moments with Michelle, you know that I've talked about race and, everything that I think is wrong with our country right now. And I do believe, just because I'm a black woman, within the bottom of my heart, that if we don't have a serious conversation with each other about race and what it means and what we can do about it in this country, it's not going to be any different. We might get over this crazy hump that we're on now, but if we don't fix this racial thing, we'll be back here again in 20 years. So we want to prevent that from happening. So today, in some parts of the day, I want to share some clips with you about, the black experience. Because I don't think, and I want you guys to really listen. I think that sometimes some white people hear the beginning of what I just started to say and they tune out. They don't hear it. They don't want to talk about it. And I get it. It's not the best look. But if you don't acknowledge it and talk about it and feel mad about it and disgusted, and don't take it personally, right? Yeah, your ancestors were part of it, but it wasn't you.
That's like a thing that a lot of people kind of feel like it's like, oh, just get defensive right away.
Yeah, it's not my fault. Yeah. I didn't know. It's like, well, okay, but the mere fact that you're defensive about it is a problem. Okay? So one of my favorite comedians, his name's Kevin on Stage. He's a church-going man, but he's funny and he's clean, which is, new for my liking. And he's got 2 black sons. And so he gives us a quick example of what that's like. Let's go.
Sometimes as a black parent, it feels like you have to raise your kids twice. Like you have to teach them how to navigate life and then teach them how to navigate life as a black person. So I have black sons. So it's like, here's how you navigate the world. But also, when they were very young, you can't have a toy gun. You can't have a water gun. You can't play with a gun at a water park. As a matter of fact, I never buy you guys guns because Tamir Rice had to play a toy gun and it ended his life. And you can't walk around the neighborhood with a hoodie on your head. I remember having that conversation with my sons after Trayvon Martin. You can't walk around this neighborhood with a hoodie on your head. My son was like, but my head is cold. I'm like, if somebody thinks you don't belong here, you got a hoodie on, they call the police, they call the homeowners association. It's going to be like that. It's like that little boy in Florida, I believe, whose HOA is trying to sue him for touching a tree. Like, that's not a conversation every parent has to happen. But if you're navigating the world as a black kid, teen, man, or you're perceived like that, your parents have to prepare you for that. And Melissa and I were just talking about how you got to have multiple conversations to make sure they come home safely.
So see, I'm involved with a group of people. All of them are white except for me. And the conversations that they have about their teenage kids and, you know, the things that they're having to go through, they don't have conversations like this with their daughters and sons because they don't need to. And I think that I want people to really just kind of pay attention to what Kevin just said. He has to raise his boys differently. They can't navigate themselves in the world like white people can. They can't wear certain clothes. They have to be careful and at night. You know, I mean, we as black people have to be uber aware of everything around us all the time. And Eric Grant from the family meeting may call me light skinned, but that doesn't mean people don't know I'm black. You know what I mean? So we have a caller on the line. Let's talk to Rick from Florida. Hi, Rick. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, Michelle, and good morning to everybody in Chicago.
Thank you.
You know, I was thinking about what you're talking about now to comment on that. As far as black people and us men of bronze, us Mexicans and Latin and my brother Cubanos and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have noticed that. I used to teach up in the Lake County area, Libertyville, Forest Park, up in that general area, and they do have their own lingo, and white people do, and you do have to be conscious of it. And you're right. You do. The anus.
Rick.
The onus is on you. You know, it's on us as you know. We have to sort of speak that language, that code. And at least for me, you know, I have to admit that I've been until I moved down into the South, I didn't realize what African Americans were up against, what my fellow Latinos were up against. But because I've always just sort of been like a chameleon, I've been able to fit in. But I do see where you're coming from, and so that's my take on that. Now, speaking as progressives, you know, we also have to have that lingo because these Republicans are pissed.
I don't know why. They have everything they want. They voted for it.
I'll tell you what. I'm glad you said that because understanding and empathy of these people is important for us to be able to get along with them and realize where we need to go. And the problem is this, as I see it. We've all been through trauma in our lives. We've all been through different hardships in our lives. Trauma is what you feel afterwards. But my point being is that I've found over and over again, because I have these conversations everywhere I go, that I see that when you can tell these Republicans have been, just like us liberals as well, they've been abused. I've read that it's as high as 4 out of 8 children, or maybe even more, 5 out of 8 children have been molested as when they were young, you know, as children. And the difference is us liberals are able to cope with it. We have better coping mechanisms. We're still sad on the inside, but we have empathy. And I have seen this. I have dear friends. I have family like this that I stopped talking to them. They're just such malcontents. But I've seen this, that they're upset. And right now I'm thinking of a dear former friend of mine who we went to high school. I'm 61 years old now. We went to high school together, and he used to get bullied. He used to, you know, he had problems, you know, with different things like we all have growing up. You know, growing up is tough, but it turned him into just a hateful person, and I'm trying to reach out to him specifically, and say, brother, don't you realize, be self-aware, and we need to see this about these Republicans, and we need to come to the conclusion, and that's this. Unless you're a professional and you can get them into therapy, there's no sense talking to them, because they're dead set in what their beliefs are. They just want to punish us. They want to punish you, me, women that have abortions, people that don't speak their language. And the reason why we need to recognize that is because part of what winds up happening is we have these discussions with these Republican malcontents. I'm just going to call them what they are. They're malcontents. And because they will beat you down. If you go on YouTube and you talk to and you look up a Dr. Ramani, it's spelled as it sounds, Dr. Ramani, she talks about narcissism and narcissistic enablers and such. And that's what we're dealing with here in a way also. And my whole point behind all of this is that we have to stay strong. Yeah. And these Republicans, when you debate them, like you can say to me, Michelle, oh, Rick, isn't it a nice, beautiful sky today? It's blue. And if I was one of them, I could say, how do you know it's blue? Have you checked your eyesight today? When's the last time you've been to a doctor?
That's it. That's it right there. Pink? That's it. And they, it's not blue. It's green.
Oh, yeah. And they're masters at it.
Yeah.
They're just absolutely. Even me when I was a child, and then I started taking psychology classes, amongst other things, to understand the world that I've been growing up in. And I'm still learning to this day at my tender young age.
So, Rick, I have a...
Unless you've got... Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know I'm rambling on.
That's okay. I was letting you. I have a question, and then I'm gonna make a statement. Hopefully, I can remember what it is. It'll probably be after the. So you said when you first moved to the South, that's when you had the realization of how difficult it was to be a black person. What was it that happened specifically that made you have that aha moment? Do you remember?
Because I've seen. Yes, I do. One of the things that I've seen is the N-word just gets tossed around down here like nickels.
Okay.
for one thing.
Yeah.
And that's got to be hard, because I remember when I was in high school and people used to, and I think I was the only Mexican American there, man of bronze. And I was a Puerto Rican guy. And I think in the 4 years I was there, as I remember, there was only one black kid. And one black girl, and everybody, and I used to get all of that too up there, up in the Lake County area, and I know how hurtful that is. And then to come down here and see that, and then also the other thing that really made things stand out for me is just being exposed to more nationalities down here, ironically, than up in Chicago.
What? No, that's not possible. More? Where are you? Where did you say you were?
It's because of the job I did.
Oh, okay.
When I was up in Chicago, I was a professional photographer at one point. I was teaching on the north side, Glencoe, Glencoe, Lake County, Libertyville.
Okay.
And then when I came down
there
here...
are no black people in Libertyville.
Yeah, I don't think there are. It's really...
No offense to Libertyville. Come on now, if you're listening. I'm not...
No,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no offense, but it's a different demographic up there.
Yeah.
And I loved it up there. We wound up... when I was very young, I moved up into the Lake County area, and I went to the high school up there, and boy, was it a big difference. And I think I probably would have learned more about other races if I would have stayed, because I was raised in the Peltier community, and I went to a Catholic school there.
Rick, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
We're coming up on a hard break, my dear. Thank you for being my first call of the day. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for listening,
Of
and I hope
course.
you have a great show today. And take care, and we'll talk more soon, I hope.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. I hope so too. Bye-bye. Okay, y'all. I think we got some news coming, don't we, Henry? We'll be right back.
WCPT replay.
We are talking with retired Major General Randy Manner.
It's very important that you find these concepts of hope locally, because when it is absent from a higher level, for example, in this case, nationally, you have to look and find it, because there are these great leaders. I will tell you that I was absolutely inspired by the remarks of the governor of Illinois and the mayor of this great city when both of them gave that press conference. I was going, now those are leaders.
Yeah.
Those are people who are saying we are going to stand up for our people. In terms of the people who are listening to this now, if you live in Chicago or you live in Illinois, you should be proud of those leaders that you've elected to stand up for what is right.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Daytime highs approaching 63 today under mainly sunny skies, northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 45 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 65 tomorrow, bright sunshine. A mix of clouds and sunshine and dry. Friday and Saturday, upper 60s. Friday, low 70s by Saturday. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Right now, 54.
What is your healing power? Maybe your healing power is helping veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, depression, anxiety, or loneliness. Is your healing power a simple, heartfelt letter or being a volunteer? It is estimated that over 500,000 current warfighters will return from service diagnosed with PTSD, and 22 veterans will commit suicide every day. Our veterans have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country. At healvets.org, you can find out more about the healing power of pen pals, volunteers, therapy kits, and more. Discover your healing power at healvets.org. Help Heal Veterans, together with you, has been helping one recovering veteran at a time. We are helping veterans heal together. What is your healing power? To find out about your power, visit healvets.org. This PSA is sponsored by Help Heal Veterans.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit managerbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
It's Choose Views with Richard Chu. Filling in for Richard Chu, it's none other than Michelle Peltier.
And we're back. Yes. Tomorrow on Choose Views, I'll be here again. And my guest will be Randy Weingarten, president of the American Federation of Teachers. If you guys have been here with me all week, you know that we were supposed to have her yesterday, and we had some cross wires. So luckily, she's going to come back tomorrow, and we can talk to her then. Listen live weekdays, of course, from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central at 8:20 a.m. on TuneIn from heartlandsignal.com, or watch the live video stream on Facebook and YouTube. The Credo mobile phone and text line is open, 773-763-9278. And WCPT listeners, this is exciting. Now get 20% off for 2 years at Credo Mobile with the code WCPT25. Okay? WCPT listeners now get 25% off. I'm going to say it twice. For 2 years at Credo Mobile with the code WCPT25. And you know what Credo Mobile is? It's a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. I want to piggyback off of something that Rick said just a second ago, our last caller. And he was saying, you could have a conversation about with someone on the other side, and you talking about the color of the sky. And there are moments in my life where people's certainty knock me off balance, right? And this is a really, I think, a good example. A good friend of mine, she's really, really smart. And she walks in her certainty, right? So I have to be ready when we're having conversations because her certainty just knocks me off balance, right? So just, I don't know, 4 days ago or so, we were talking, and I don't know how we got on. A celebrity had died, and so she asked me why I didn't tell her the person had died, and they'd been dead for maybe 2-3 weeks. And we just didn't talk about it. Anyway, so she says, yeah, girl, just like, I was just so sad when James Cameron died. And I was like, yeah, no. I said, Titanic, James Cameron? She said, yeah, girl, don't you know he died? I said, and her name's Michelle, too. I said, Michelle, he's not dead. She said, okay, yes, he is. He's dead. He died and I remember being sad about it. I mean, she's loud. That's what I'm talking about. Her certainty made me like, look, I feel like I just read about him.
Yeah, no, I was also like, wait, did he die?
Avatar.
Wait, did he?
Because they're getting ready to do an Avatar too, right?
Yeah.
But because she was just like, boom, boom. Girl, no, that is not, he is dead. God rest his soul. And thank goodness for our cell phones now, our little mini computers that walk around with us 24 hours a day. And she looked it up and she was like, oops. But I'm telling you what, in those few seconds, I was like, well, maybe he did die and I just don't know. So that's like what Rick said. MAGA has that down. Every day. They're looking at the camera every single day saying, this is the Democrats' fault. The Democrats have done it.
Yeah, with full-blown conviction.
Oh, my gosh. Looking right in the camera like they're looking you in your face. Yeah. It's amazing. And so, and they have no shame.
Also that.
To continue with the subtleties of racism. Are we ready with that clip one? Let's listen to what Mike Johnson had to say.
Any reaction to Bad Bunny being chosen as the Super Bowl halftime performance?
I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was, but it sounds like a terrible decision, in my view, from what I'm hearing. What's that?
How come?
Well, it sounds like he's not someone who appeals to a broader audience, and I think, there's so many eyes on the Super Bowl, a lot of young, impressionable children. And I think, in my view, you would have Lee Greenwood or role models doing that, not somebody like this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so what's the dog whistle in that little clip? They need someone to appeal to a broader audience. What's that mean, people? What's a broader audience? People that aren't black or Puerto Rican? Huh? I can't help but say Puerto Rico like that. I love it. I've been there before. I hope if you've never been, you should go. Do yourself a favor. But this is what we're all talking about. These are not really dog whistles anymore, right? They're just kind of out with it. We don't want people who are different than us to be part of anything. We don't want you to entertain us. Not at the Super Bowl anyway. Bad Bunny? Super Bowl? No. We can't have that. He doesn't appeal to everybody. And I'm so sick of them saying, I didn't watch it. I don't know it. That doesn't absolve you of your responsibility. Right? Should I? Okay. I think we're going to take a call, people. Al?
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Boy, that was quick.
try to stay on point. There's just so much going on.
I know.
Out here, but I just wanted to key on the fact that, like, I did this crazy thing, like putting on 560 a.m. this morning, and they're all about how great it is that the National Guard is coming in, and how it's ridiculous that we're fighting them because we need law and order, and they are. Some of the reason the National Guard is here is to, keep peace between the protesters and ICE, whereas, so that because they want to bring ICE out and get them to do something bad. But we've already seen them do things wrong, and they are the agitators. So they are all using projection. And then I get the newsletter from the chairman of the Republican Party saying the same thing. And so this is, up and down, that they all have their lines and what they're saying lined up that we have to get against, and they got so many holes, in their logic, and we just have to figure out how to get above them in the media and.
Well, Al, you know what? Good for you for even taking the time to listen to that stuff and to read that stuff, to be on those mailing lists. I am grateful to you for taking the hit, because that must be hard. That must be really hard. So thank you for doing that for the rest of us. I appreciate it. But they're trying to, that's what's scary, right? You'd think that if you were in Portland or here in Chicago, that we were running naked in the streets with flamethrowers and guns and, pillaging and, blowing everything up around here. And they want people to think that that's what's happening here, because they want to normalize these people walking up and down our streets. And I for one, am not having it. I don't know. But we cannot go down this route at all. Once they're here for long periods of time, they're not going away.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing about the Republicans, they are very good at playing the long game, and we have to be doing that better on our side, even on the media. And in the long game, they're also able to manifest what is going on. They're going to keep yelling long enough and talk about the violence. And there will be violence, but the ones creating it are them. We're peaceful. We are looking for the root cause of violence and trying to work with different communities. Boy, you listen to Richard's show or any of the CPT shows, and you hear all the great organizations putting their hearts into trying to solve all these problems, and then these guys just throw a hammer at it or try to break it. It's much easier to break this stuff than it is to fix it.
Yeah. Thank you, Al. Appreciate you, and I'm glad that you brought up what's happening now. I was not going to forget it. I spent the first half of the show talking about something else, but I was always going to bring it back to ICE. So I appreciate you. You have a good day, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so Al's on point. Because I feel like Governor Pritzker and Mayor Brandon have been on it. You can tell that they're angry, and, they want all of this to end, so they're doing everything that they can to just stop this madness. So let's hear from Governor Pritzker. What's that, clip 10?
I'm struck by the fact that you said that you hadn't communicated with the White House. I'm wondering if either one of you, have any communication with the White House, if you talked to Governor Abbott, it's the Texas National Guard, if you talked to Pete Hegseth, any of these sort of officials who are overseeing this, and whether you have an open line of communication with the White House.
So they sent all these folks, the ICE and CBP and now National Guard, without talking to me at all. They have not picked up the phone and called me, not once. On Saturday, for the first time, I got a notice that Pete Hegseth was going to call me to let me know they're calling up the Illinois National Guard. And that is normally how it's done. They either call you or notify you some other way. But I was told he's going to call, and I thought, great, first time in literally a couple months now that I would have heard from somebody at the White House about their mission. So I was told they were going to call. I literally canceled everything that I had that afternoon to make sure that I was there with my phone, no interruptions, waiting for that call. He never called. And it turns out he was at a football game and was part of some push-up competition at a football game and left the governor of the state that he's sending troops to waiting by the phone. I never got a call from Pete Hegseth or anybody else.
That's part of the problem, right, Henry?
Oh, yeah.
You have all of these people in these really important, significant jobs that have the power to improve people's lives, and none of them are taking it seriously. Everything they do is performative. I bet half of them don't even really know what their job description is for real.
No, honestly. Well,
Yeah.
especially considering, like,
they have just taken away all of the honor out of these jobs. You know, I'm old. When people ran for office back in my day, it was a calling, right? It was like a vocation, because I feel like I can help make the world better.
Right, yeah.
Right? And so I want to speak for some people because I know I can.
Yeah.
Right? I want to help. And now they are literally like, I want to destroy.
Genuinely.
Let's just tear it all apart.
Everything is just like, this is broken. I'm gonna break it more.
Yeah, let's just dismantle the whole thing. I'm taking all my marbles and I'm going home. You guys just get to sit there. It's just insane. It's just insane. Do we have the other clip 3?
Let's go to break real quick.
Okay. Oh, we'll be right back.
Listen up, fellow timeshare owners. If you're a timeshare owner and you want out at all costs, you're done. Frustrated, tired of wasting money, you don't use the darn thing. Get out now. Hire the best bulldog timeshare cancellation team in the business. Their in-house legal team, headed by a timeshare cancellation lawyer, can help you fight the biggest and baddest companies out there that sell timeshare. At some point, you were using your timeshare, but now you're not, and you're tired of wasting money. Before you go to the poorhouse, call right now and learn how you can stop the maintenance fees and put more money back in your pocket. Their services cost you a lot less than you think, and you'll save a lot of money over time. Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline now. It's a free consultation.
800-296-0150. 800-296-0150. 800-296-0150. That's 800-296-0150.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
It's Chew's Views with Richard Chew. Filling in for Richard Chew, it's none other than the one and only Michelle Peltier.
Oh, my. Devin. He said that good. Okay, I got a couple of clips for you, but let me give you some information. Remember, Chew's Views, featured interviews, and full episode podcasts are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeart, YouTube, and Amazon Music. Search for Chew's Views or visit our brand new podcast page at heartlandsignal.com/podcast. The latest additions to Richard's featured interviews are with Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, CNN anchor and author Jake Tapper, legal scholar Barbara McQuaid, Kim A. Snyder, director of the documentary The Librarians, and Wisconsin State Senator and candidate for Governor Kel DeRoy's. And before I say this last part, I want to say one thing. If you guys have not listened to Richard Chew interview, I mean, come on now. Doesn't he do a good job? He does a great job.
No, he's great. He's so fun.
I know he is. And so I encourage those of you who have missed some of those interviews I've just mentioned, you should go because you're going to learn something for sure. I guarantee you. So make sure you go listen to his podcast. But you know what else you can get? My interview with John Fugelsang.
Hey, there we go.
The comedy of Jesus. Yes.
Absolutely.
He's going to be at Zany's tonight. And that's why he had the interview yesterday to talk about that and his book. So I think I might, head on out to Zany's.
I think that sounds great.
So I can be the crazy lady in the back going, I'm here! John Fugelsang, we talked yesterday! All right, let's get serious now. We got some clips because really, honestly, I know you guys are scared because we should all be scared, but we have some great representation doing all that they can for us, and that's a blessing, as they say. Let's go.
The presence of the federal law enforcement here is illegal and unconstitutional. You have said it's a pretext for the invocation of the Insurrection Act. You have said you will use all authorities at your disposal as the governor of the state to push back on this. And I just heard you talk about your control of the state police here. Beyond legal challenges, what does that push back against the potential?
Are you wearing 7 layers and still freezing your man nipples? You need the new 300
Invocation of the Insurrection Act. Would you order the state police to arrest or detain federal officials or stand in the way of federal law?
No, we follow the law in Illinois. We follow the law. Unlike Donald Trump, we follow the law. We have made sure that, again, under state law, that we've provided funding for programs so that people know their rights, so that they can protect themselves. That's first and foremost. We've made sure that we've pleaded with the public to take action by using their phones to videotape anything and everything that they see. We want to make sure that that's recorded. It's why we were able to even show some video here today. And again, beyond going to court, we have encouraged people to shop at small businesses, to help out your neighbors. We provided support for those children who've been traumatized and for their families by those attacks. But it is the courts, in the end, that are going to have to rule on whether or not Donald Trump has the ability to call up National Guard from another state or from our state. The job of our state police, the mission that they've been given, is to keep the people who are in Broadview and who are protesting safe from ICE, who have been firing gas pellets at people when they've been peacefully protesting.
Does it mean to physically stop the ICE agents from doing those types of activities?
Again, we follow the law. There are federal agents following what their orders are. We have our state police following my orders and the orders of the director of the state police. Shia.
I have a little bit of a broader question. Can you tell me whether the government shutdown and the debate about health care for undocumented immigrants is somehow helping escalate this war on immigration? Is it all connected or not?
No. The only connection that you could ever find in that regard is that Donald Trump likes to go after Democrats, political opponents. He's called the Democratic Party a leftist. His organization, his White House has called the Democratic Party a terrorist organization. He is attacking anybody that's opposed to him. So that's the only connection I can find. Otherwise, the reality is that he's just going after everybody that he views as standing in his way of imposing his authoritarian rule.
And now, Governor Walz had some interesting and powerful comment.
Do you talk to the White House, Governor?
No, but I think for the moment here, can we all just, as you heard this from the governor of Illinois, can we all just acknowledge that none of this is normal, and don't try and you're getting straight answers and you're hearing this. This is not normal, and this is not to set up something that's peripheral to this. If it's about helping us out on an event that comes up, helping us out on crime or whatever it might be. None of this is it. Not coordinating with the governors. No, we do not hear from them. And in fact, the communication lines that are set up and very specific in this are codified into law with the Council of Governors. Governor Pritzker said on that. I said on that. Appointed by President Trump to set on that. And it's codified into law that you have to have these communications. You have to communicate on budget. And it just makes sense that if you're going to do an operation where people have firearms, you need to know where folks are at, how they're going to be positioned, how they're going to be used.
Oh. It's Wednesday, y'all. It's hump day. That's all I got. That's all I got. But let's break this down just a little bit. You heard what Governor Walz said, and this is what we have to keep in mind. None of this crap is normal, people. And they're trying to lull us into a sense of complacency, right? We're just going to wake up one day and just walk outside and armed guards are going to be there and it's going to be like nothing. And let me tell you, after 9/11, I was living in Colorado at the time, and I was receiving an award, so I needed to go back to Kansas City. And it was in October, so everything was still fresh. But this organization didn't want to cancel it because they didn't want to succumb to the, we're all going to be afraid. And so I felt like I should go because it was a group that I had worked a lot with when I lived in Kansas City, right? So we're, my friend Janelle and I are going, God rest her soul, are going to the airport. And we drive in, and there are all of these guards there with their guns, because it's right after 9/11. We don't know if we're at war or not. And I almost got sick. And then when we get in the airport, you could hear a penny drop. Nobody was talking. And everybody was looking at the armed guards. You know what I mean? The men in the camouflage walking around with these big A rifles, guns. I don't know what they were. I'm not a gun person. All I know is I was scared. I don't want that in everyday life here. I don't know about you guys, but that's just unacceptable to me. That does not make me feel safe. It makes me more afraid, right? So anyway, do we want to play the other part, or we want to go to break for news, or what do you want to do, boo?
Let's break for news.
Okay, y'all.
Yeah.
Our producer's giving us permission. Break for the news. And we shall be right back. Get on that phone. 773-763-9278. We'll be right back.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. During Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, and now even, he had his rallies where he poorly danced to the YMCA. Let's take a look at all the musicians who threatened to sue Donald Trump if he used any of their music at his rallies. ABBA, Adele, Aerosmith, Andrew Lloyd Webber, The Animals, Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen, Celine Dion, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Earth, Wind & Fire, Elton John, The Foo Fighters, Free, Guns N' Roses, Linkin Park, Neil Young, Nickelback, Olivia Rodrigo, Ozzy Osbourne, Panic at the Disco, Pharrell Williams, Phil Collins, and yes, that includes Genesis too, guys, The Estate of Prince, Queen, R.E.M., Rihanna, The Rolling Stones, Spinal Tap, Tom Petty, and Twisted Sister. So if you're looking to buy some records or go see a concert, I consider checking those artists out. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves with Active Liver from New Nordic. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
AP News, I'm Marcela Sanchez. Attorney General Pam Bondi repeatedly deflected questions while seeking to defend herself during yesterday's congressional hearing. She also clashed with Democrats who claim she's weaponized the Justice Department. She responded by echoing conservative claims that President Biden's Justice Department was the one that had been weaponized.
The historic betrayal of public trust.
Former FBI Director James Comey accused of lying to Congress, will head to court today. The AP's Jennifer King reports.
James Comey has his first court appearance for his arraignment at federal court in Alexandria, Virginia today. The Justice Department alleges that in September of 2020, Comey obstructed a congressional proceeding and made a false statement by denying to the Senate Judiciary Committee that he'd authorized an associate to serve as an anonymous source to the news media. President Trump replaced the attorney overseeing the investigation with White House aide Lindsey Halligan, who rushed to file charges to beat a legal deadline despite warnings that there was insufficient evidence. President Trump spoke to reporters about the case on Monday.
I think he's a crooked guy. He's a dirty cop.
The prosecution of James Comey has amplified concerns that the Justice Department is being weaponized in pursuit of the president's political enemies.
Every totalitarian relies on the justice system to punish dissent.
On the Senate floor Tuesday, Democrat Chris Murphy suggested it was part of a trend.
Not a single prosecutor in that office in Virginia would sign the indictment, not a single one, until President Trump sent his personal lawyer.
Jennifer King, Washington.
National Guard troops from Texas are positioned at an Army Reserve center in Illinois despite a lawsuit and opposition from Democratic elected leaders. Their exact mission was not clear, but the Trump administration does have an aggressive immigration enforcement operation in the nation's third largest city. More information at apnews.com. This is AP News. Taylor Swift is clearing up rumors about a possible 2026 Super Bowl halftime show appearance.
Her name was Kitty, made her money being pretty and witty.
The life of a showgirl, singer Taylor Swift dispelling a few rumors during an appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon on Monday. First, the singer says she did not turn down the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. A popular rumor going around says she turned it down because she wouldn't be allowed to own the performance footage. She says that's not true. Swift also told Fallon she did not receive an official Super Bowl offer. She says during the football season, she's focused on her fiancé, star tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce. Global superstar Bad Bunny will headline the Super Bowl February 8th. Julie Walker, New York.
More on this and other stories at apnews.com. I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Paul Frombley. Daytime highs approaching 63 today under mainly sunny skies, northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 45 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 65 tomorrow, bright sunshine. A mix of clouds and sunshine and dry. Friday and Saturday, upper 60s. Friday, low 70s by Saturday. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 54 degrees.
Powerful stories, dazzling nights. Experience the new season at Lyric Opera of Chicago. From Puccini's Madama Butterfly to Cherubini's Medea and Mozart's Così fan tutte, every night is filled with breathtaking music and inspiring theater on Chicago's biggest stage. Whether you're new to opera or a longtime fan, Lyric has something for everyone this season. Tickets start at just $47. Visit lyricopera.org today.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
It's Choose Views with Richard Chew. Filling in today for Richard Chew. Co-host of the Family Meeting, event planner, and champion for democracy, Michelle Peltier.
And we're back. Every time I hear that, I'm like, who's he talking about? Champion for democracy. Welcome back, everybody. Let me give you a little bit of information before we talk to Kurt and Leo and Roosevelt. Hang on, okay? I'm going to talk to Kurt a little bit, and then I'll get to you. But before I do that, just want to remind you guys that Tom Hartman book signing, an event at Max and Benny's in Northbrook, is sold out. But if you've reserved your seats and are planning to attend, WCPT, of course, will be there to welcome you as early as 6 p.m. You know, their staff, if you've been to those events, you know their staff is really, really good about the meet and greet stuff. Tickets for the October 15th Labor Panel are also no longer available. I think maybe you guys should start getting a bigger venue.
For real at this point.
Yeah, it's something to consider. They are announcing a change of venue from 3 to 5 that day. Tom Hartman and Richard will be co-hosting the Labor Panel at Max and Benny's and not in Broadview. If you can't make it out to the event, be sure to turn in that day between 3 and 5. Now let's welcome friend of the show, Mr. Kurt Mullett. Good morning, Kurt.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to you, only I'm a little hesitant about this putting me on the spot thing. I don't know what you got up your sleeve, but hey, I'm going to find out real quick, aren't I?
Yes, you are. It's all love. Well, listen, so I was looking at your Substack, and I saw this clip, your most recent clip, and I wanted you to respond to the clip to our listeners as opposed to, so I'm going to play the first part, and then you and I are going to talk about it on the back end, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
So if you haven't seen this, take a look at it.
Bad Bunny was selected as the Super Bowl halftime performer. This is an individual who is anti-ICE, who is anti-immigration, and says he refuses to tour in America because of that. The NFL is sending a message, presumably, to MAGA, to the Trump administration, by choosing this anti-ICE, anti-immigration enforcement performer. He's scared to perform in America because he's worried that ICE will have enforcement at his concerts. That's what he said in multiple interviews. What is your message to the NFL? What is your message to Bad Bunny? Will there be ICE enforcement at the Super Bowl?
There will be, because the Department of Homeland Security is responsible for keeping it safe. So I have the responsibility for making sure everybody goes to the Super Bowl, has the opportunity to enjoy it and to leave, and that's what America is about. So yeah, we'll be all over that place. And we're going to enforce the law. So I think people should not be coming to the Super Bowl unless they're law-abiding Americans who love this country.
And your message to the NFL with this decision? It seems like they were trying to send a message to the Trump administration.
Well, they suck, and we'll win, and God will bless us, and we'll stand and be proud of ourselves at the end of the day, and they won't be able to sleep at night because they don't know what they believe, and they're so weak.
Kurt, how nana boo-boo is that?
That is very nana boo-boo. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, I as I went on with that reel that I posted there, I focused in on the words that she decided to use and how she uses them, because and Richard talks a lot about this kind of thing. You know, words matter, and the words that people use matter. And first off, she said, well, if they're law-abiding Americans, okay, so let's break that down.
Yes,
what does that mean? How can you police a crowd of 60 to 80,000 people, let's say, and you can do this and decide which ones are law-abiding Americans? I mean, how do you do this? Well, one way to do it is by racially profiling the crowd,
there
right?
You go.
I mean, and unless there's a bunch of fights taking place, which, you know, over the years at the Super Bowl, it's not a violent event. Have there been incidents that have happened? Absolutely. I don't think you can ever have an ongoing, I mean, I think it's approaching 60 years now, an event where you gather that many people. Well, you don't have things that happen, but there's never been a huge violent problem with the Super Bowl. So they're blowing this out of proportion. But the way that you can tell law-abiding Americans with their definition, because of the words they use, is racially profiling. So everybody who's white, they won't be approached.
That's
right. They won't be questioned. They won't be brought to the side. They won't be detained. It'll be everyone that looks Puerto Rican or Latino or every black man that's walking. This is how they are going to do this. And you know, if they want to come up and tell me a different way that that's not what she meant, well, come on, tell me. But that's exactly what she meant. You know, I'm a white guy that understands the racism from the white guys in our country.
Mm-hmm.
It's been something that's been crawling up my, for my whole life. I've never understood it. But I was brought up in a different household, large Catholic Democratic family. We were very much along the lines of the belief of the Kennedys, and Martin Luther King was an important individual in our household. I was born on the day Martin Luther King gave his "I've Got a Dream" speech in D.C.
Wow,
that's my birthday.
Wow,
so
good for you.
I've always had kind of a connection. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
What it is, whatever you believe in, So, but I understand the racism, and I pay attention to the words that people use.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Richard and I have talked about, and we've talked about before. It drives me nuts when somebody says, "Well, I have black friends." I don't care who you have as a friend. It's your actions and what you say and how you act as an individual that prove who you are.
Yeah.
And it's so. One thing that this administration has brought out is people like myself being made aware of those individuals that I have shared my life with, either as a friend, a schoolmate, or family, where their moral compass points. And it's created, a lot of division, because I can't respect anybody that supports this administration. I'm sorry, I can't.
You know what it's done, Kurt? It's done for me.
I am.
Yeah, it's done for me the same. Like, I've lost some friends, and I've gained enormous respect for others, knowing that they were cool, but knowing how they are absorbing this situation we find ourselves in. Some of my friends I've been incredibly proud of, because they're like, what can I do? What do we need to do? This is bad. One of my really good friends, I consider her an empath, and she wouldn't call herself that, but she's so worried about everything, and she's just, what can I do? Tell me what I can do. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Kurt.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you too, and I can say the same thing. I mean, I've been surprised at some of my friends not knowing that that's how they felt. But the negative ones have outweighed the positive ones. But I've also made some connections that I never would have made before.
Yes. Like with
without
Richard.
this happening, and with just all of you, I mean, people from WCPT and on social media and just all kind of within my state, just coming together and trying to fight this. But her words saying they suck, we'll win, God will bless us, and we'll be proud of ourselves. What the hell is that? Excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think that's one that we can say on the air.
I try to avoid them all, though. But I'm passionate about this, and people, stupidity just drives me crazy, and she is just at the bottom of it. I mean, it's. And the one thing that struck me the hardest when I was listening to her is they won't be able to sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, immediately the kids came into my mind. I mean, because, I need to stop before I get too emotional, but, they won't be able to sleep at night. I mean, listen to what you're saying. And she stands there with this smug look on her face.
Yeah.
Her narcissism just oozes out of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you watched the whole thing, but at the very end, I put up her picture of her workout picture that she posted recently. where she looks like Pippi Longstocking. If people remember who Pippi
I
Longstocking
loved
is.
Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah. Well, she's a bad version of her, let me tell you. And I don't normally shame people for their looks. That's not what I do. But in this case, I made an exception for it because I just couldn't stand what she had to say. So,
well, and it goes back to what I was talking about earlier in that they just don't have respect for the jobs that they have been charged with. I don't even think they even understand what the job entails. I don't think they've spent a lot of time on it. She's so busy putting on makeup and extensions and, doing her thing, looking good. Like, she doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing, except their whole job is being hateful and accusatory. We're the bad ones.
Well, it's hateful, but let's really, it's racism.
That's all
what
it
this
is.
Whole thing is about.
That's all it is.
This is deeply rooted in racism. And I say this all the time on my platforms. If you support this racist regime, you're racist.
You're racist.
Period. And you can't tell me or make any full stop. You can't make any excuses. Well, no, I'm not. I just support. No, you're racist. Because let's remember their whole plan, and this is what boggles my mind. I can't understand anybody that supports him, but when it comes to people of color and Latinos and different ethnicities that support him, they obviously are not paying attention, because the plan of this administration, Project 2025, is to reduce our population down to 100 million. Okay? Now, think about that. Where are we going to get rid of 243 million people, or how many ever it is right now? Do you not think that you're not going people need to understand that. And Stephen Miller has said this openly on numerous occasions, okay?
Yeah.
It's 100 million is the goal of the population. They want a white population. They want it. The again thing of MAGA is colonial American.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the again is, okay? And we all know what happened back then and how they considered people of color and women.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Micah Beckwith here, our lieutenant governor, who compared the blacks of colonial American to furniture. When he was talking about the it's escaped my mind right now, the 3/5, compromise, or whatever it was called.
I'll never understand why we're not looked at as human. I think that's part of the reason why they're able to treat people who are different than them so cruelly, is because they don't see us as human. And that's quite sobering for me.
You need to know there are millions of us that do look at you as an equal, or do look at people of color, or everyone. People like myself, I don't have color boundaries. I don't care what you look like or how you talk or the color of your hair. If you're a decent human being, hey, I'm all for you. So that's, but I understand, let me put it this way. I can't understand, because I'm not black. I never will be black. So I never will understand exactly the experiences that,
I appreciate you saying that, because it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, when I wear my Obama 2028 hat, or my White Dudes for Harris hat out in public here in my town, my little town. I go to Kroger's, in a community that was, 78% voted for Trump or whatever. I get stared at in a weird way that I've never been stared at before. So I maybe get a little taste of it, but nothing like.
Yeah, but you can take those T-shirts and those hats off. Right.
Yeah, exactly. and that's the big difference. So I don't want to even compare it, but I felt a little bit of that, but again, nowhere near what anyone who has lived their entire lives and have been faced with it has experienced, nor would I ever compare it to it.
Yeah, I have a question for you. So when you were talking a few minutes ago, you were talking about your friends, some of who you lost, and you said you either said you didn't know that or they didn't know that about themselves. Either way, do you think that these people who you broke up with, my terminology, not yours, really didn't know that they had that undercurrent of racism in them, and it just, for whatever reason this time, and gave them the permission to come out with it? Or do you think they were surprised by the fact that, hey, I'm not really keen on, black people?
I think more of your first comment and a little bit of the second. I mean, I think I don't think it's something that you gotta just like I can't put myself in your shoes and experience what you have. You can't do that with me either. I mean, I've grown up in a community where white fathers of the 50s and 60s and 70s and even today, but especially in that time, they were evil SOBs. I mean, they've ruled with an iron fist. I know many families whose fathers were in total control. The wives didn't have any say-so on the money or anything, and they just, that was a time when the man worked, the woman stayed home and did her chores. That was what this America, they all wanted. And when the civil rights movement came out and the women's rights movement came out, and they started seeing themselves losing a bit of their control, I think it freaked a lot of them out. And I think that's when the Heritage Foundation started in 74 and why we are here at this point. As far as a lot of my friends, I think they've always been that way. It's just never been a time when they've been able to or had to expose the way they feel. And now there's an individual out there that has given them that freedom, because yourself right now, if there's an altercation between a violent right radical and a liberal leftist, regardless of what color they are, the right winger is going to get special treatment. So, it's the way it is. But I live in a community where, when I was growing up in high school, we had 187 seniors in my graduating class. We had one black guy, there was 2 black families in my town. So this is where I grew up. Okay. So racism has always been an underlying thing here, but it's never been to the forefront like it is now. And I guess that's just shocking to me, that just seeing it, it's just simply, it's discouraging. But it's with family members that is even more so bothersome to me. And, but it is what it is. So, I'm not going to shut up.
And it's not a good idea for you too, right? We need as many people like you out here in the world being vocal, and especially white people, Kurt, to be honest. I can stand up here and say whatever, and Richard can say whatever, and people are going to hear us maybe, but I'm sorry, they're going to believe you more. And that's unfortunate, but it's time. I mean, when we as black people talk about racism, I know that most people look at me and roll their eyes and go, here we go again. So it's time for you guys to take up the mantle and, help us out.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I try to do everything I can, but it's I'm just one voice in a sea of many, and it has to be a coalition of a large group of people. And when you have Republican, white, even black Republicans who say slavery was beneficial to the black man, I mean, my God, what is wrong with people?
It's all cattywampus. It's all cattywampus.
Yeah, it's absolutely just amazing. But I know you want to take a couple calls, so I just want one more thing. I just want you to know, living in Indiana and watching what's happening in Chicago, Chicago's been one of my favorite towns. I used to almost every Christmas get on the train in Chesterton and come downtown and just visit the city. I've been a Cubs fan all my life and a Bears fan. And, Chicago's just been a special city for me, being so close.
Yeah.
And to see what has happened, but in particular, the raid on the one particular apartment building where they zip-tied children together so they can interrogate their parents. And they, what...
Yeah, I talked about that the other day. They've traumatized children. Those children will never be the same. Parents either, actually.
If that kind of abuse and just hate doesn't bring a tear to your eye, you're not human. But what bothered me more than anything was seeing that some of these agents and some of these law enforcement people were people of color and were Latino. Or they appeared to be Latinos. I don't want to racially profile
There's a couple of black people in there, too. But you know what that is, Kurt?
That's people.
You know what that is, though? That's money. They get a $50,000 signing bonus. Really, if you're in dire straits, you're going to take a job like that because you can't get a job anyplace else. The standard...
and what is it,
very low for this job.
Yeah, $5,000 or $10,000 per detainee that you capture.
Yeah.
And then they also have a $60,000 student loan forgiveness program that they give you. Yeah. Even though they wouldn't shut up about Joe Biden wanting to forgive student loans, but now all of a sudden it's okay if you join ICE, we'll forgive your student loan, we'll give you money.
Of course.
So it's
all bad.
So it's sad. It's sad, and
really
I just hope that we can all get through this. And I don't know. I think stranger days are coming before they get any better. So.
I agree. But I want you to do me one more favor. I want you to listen to this Ted Cruz clip and comment on it for me. 22.
Okay.
Now this and this from a man who was one of the early favorites.
Yeah.
For the Democrats' 2028 run.
Look, he's a billionaire with inherited wealth. He throws around rhetoric like it doesn't matter at all. He's not the only one. Gavin Newsom is doing the same thing. Hakeem Jeffries is doing the same thing. They demonize ICE relentlessly.
The disconnect is fascinating, isn't it?
Well, he's always been disconnected. He's such a if you remember the original comments he came out and said about Trump, and then Trump attacked, I think, his wife, and and this guy but how he is continuously getting elected is beyond me.
I agree.
And demonizing ICE. Well, yeah, we're going to. There's a lot of people on social media say Republicans saying quit calling us Nazis.
I know.
We're not Nazis.
We'll stop calling you Nazis when you stop acting like a Nazi.
Exactly. Stop doing Nazi BS and we'll quit calling you Nazis.
Exactly.
But everything that you're doing is Hitler-esque. So, and he's one of them. So, that's, Hey, I always enjoy talking to you.
Kurt, the pleasure's mine. Thank you.
I think this is the third time we've been able to chew things up on Richard's show.
Yeah, you've lucked out each time.
I hope we get to do it again sometime. Yeah, so you've been here, so I appreciate it. And I was looking forward to it. I just got a little worried when you said you were going to put me on the spot. But it's all good now?
Yes, it is. It was always good. You just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah,
but I enjoy you too, Kurt. Thank you. And you know what? In all sincerity, keep up the good fight, honey. Keep it up. We need you.
Oh, I will. I'm not going anywhere.
Great.
Not going anywhere.
Glad to hear it.
You too.
Okay. Thanks, Kurt. Talk to you soon.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, Roosevelt, do we have time to take him? Okay, Roosevelt, we're going to have to be quick. Good morning. Uh-oh. Roosevelt?
You hear me?
Yep. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah.
Morning. How you doing? How you doing, Michelle? Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for holding.
Okay. I'm going to give it to you from the perspective of the Latin community.
Okay. Now wait. Now we got to be quick. Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. This thing with the NFL and Bad Bunny, it's all about the money. Okay. They knew that this was going to stir controversy with Bad Bunny. But you know what the NFL is doing is they're trying to promote the NFL as world sport, such as soccer. They're trying to tap into the market of the Latin community. Brazil has had games 2024, 2025 this year, and next year. Mexico City 2022, and next year they're going to have it in Mexico City again. Mexico City has Aztec Stadium. They filled the stadium with 90,000 people. So it's all about the money when it comes down to this.
Well, let me ask you this, Roosevelt. If that's the case, why are they talking so bad about it?
Who's talking so bad?
I mean, the administration is talking about how it's a bad thing to have Bad Bunny here, and I mean
because the gentleman that's going to be there, Bad Bunny, is from Puerto Rico. He speaks Spanish.
I know, but you're saying that this is a bigger plan about the money, and I'm asking you. So, are you saying that the?
I didn't say the plan from. But wait a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
I didn't say the plan from the White House or from Trump. The plan is for the NFL. They're a corporation. They're a money-making machine.
I see.
So they knew they were going to stir controversy. That's my point. The whole point.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
It's all about the money, and it's all about branching out to the Latin community. Because you know why? Because look at what they're doing with the Mexican community. They're rounding them up and everything. And what is affecting Mexican businesses, Latin businesses? They're not filling the restaurants. They're not filling their supermarkets. So the point I'm trying to make is Latin community spends money. They know it. Look at how many types of Spanish products that there is. How many things? Look at jewels section. Well, that's my point. Yeah. The point is that they want to tap into that money because they know that Latin people spend money. Okay. So I'm not saying that they're the only people, but I'm saying there's a big market.
Yeah.
And look, I'll put it to you this way.
Real quick, Roosevelt, because we got to go. We got a hard break.
Okay. Salsa is #1 condiment that it surpassed ketchup. There's my example.
I got you. Salsa is much more interesting. Roosevelt, thank you for that insight. I appreciate that because I wasn't necessarily, I know it's about money, but I was paying more attention to the administration's opposition to what was happening as opposed to what the NFL is thinking about it. So thank you for giving me that perspective. Have a good afternoon, okay?
You too.
Thanks. Okay, we're going to go and do the news. Anita, I see you. We're going to come right back with the president and CEO of the Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association. We'll be right back.
This is Tony Moray. I'm an estate planning lawyer who drafts living trusts and wills. Since the election, I've been hearing from my clients, many of them fellow WCPT listeners, and we all wonder, how did this happen and what can we do? The how is, of course, very complicated. My thoughts as regard to what we can do is simple but important. We need to take extra care of those we love. Having an estate plan using either a living trust or will can provide comfort in uncertain times like these. When the progressive values we hold dear are under attack, I feel we must make sure that our personal lives are secure and then work out from there. I've been drafting estate plans for my clients for over 30 years, and I will use all of that experience to help you. Please call me at 847-996-0496. My website is moreylawoffice.com. That's Morey spelled M-O-R-E-E. Again, the phone is 847-996-0496. There is no cost or obligation for our initial discussion. I look forward to speaking with you.
You're listening to WCPT 820, Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Daytime highs approaching 63 today under mainly sunny skies, northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 45 tonight, mainly clear skies. Daytime highs approaching 65 tomorrow, bright sunshine. A mix of clouds and sunshine and dry. Friday and Saturday, upper 60s. Friday, low 70s by Saturday. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 52 degrees.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
It's Chew's Views with Richard Chew on WCPT 820 AM. Filling in for Richard Chew, it's Michelle Peltier.
And we're back. 773-763-9271 is our number. You can catch us on Facebook Live, Twitter Stream, and TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud.com, Heartland Signal Digital, Newsroom. All right. Good morning, Anita.
Good morning.
So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but let me just welcome you. We are now speaking with Anita Brikman, the president and CEO of the Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association, a very impressive organization that I was telling Henry this morning, Anita, there's so many things going on in the world that we have no idea. And I'm just excited to talk to you this morning.
It's so true.
Yeah. So tell us about you and the organization.
Thank you for making time.
Oh, no problem. I'm excited.
Yeah, so PPTA, which is what we call it for short, is basically, it's a global organization that represents companies that manufacture plasma-derived medicines as well as plasma donation centers. These medicines aren't possible without human-donated plasma, and they help hundreds of thousands of people around the world with immune system deficiencies, neurological conditions, bleeding disorders, and it's part of PPTA's job to get the word out about the need for plasma donation and the growing need of patients all around the world and right here in the U.S. And that's a big part of why we have this International Plasma Awareness Week, which we also nickname IPAW. The whole point is to tell people that plasma donation is a real option that we hope you consider because there are people in need of the therapies that come from plasma.
So let's talk about those therapies, Anita. What exactly therapies can be created? Okay, go ahead.
What exactly? Yes, it is. There are several different types. So human plasma, the plasma it's in our blood. It's the straw-colored liquid that carries all of our red blood cells and other cellular components around in our body. But in plasma are some incredible proteins and antibodies. They help regulate our immune system. They help our blood clot. They do so many different things. And there are people who are born without some of these antibodies and proteins. They might have a bleeding disorder like hemophilia or von Willebrand disease. They might have a primary immune deficiency, so that would be a child born without an immune system that works right, or neurological conditions that can be very debilitating. But if people get those proteins and antibodies from donated plasma, it goes through a long manufacturing process to really crystallize and distill those proteins and antibodies. It is life-changing for them. They go back to having a normal life. And these medicines are only made from human plasma.
Oh, my gosh. So how does one, first of all, why don't more people know about this? And secondly, how does one go about donating their plasma?
I think there is definitely a gap in knowledge, and we saw that in a survey that we did, that 8 in 10 people have never donated plasma, and if they knew more about who needed it, who needed the medicines, that they would do so. So we are trying to make it clear that blood donation, a lot more people know about that, right? And it is critical for transfusion, for disaster relief, but so is plasma donation for a whole different set of reasons. But if somebody wants to donate plasma, and there are several plasma donation centers throughout the Chicago area, you would go to plasmaweek.org. That's plasmaweek.org. We have a donation center finder. And people can look it up and also see the stories of people who need these medicines that I was talking about. It could be a neighbor or a friend that you don't even know may have this disorder. Like you said earlier when we started this conversation, there are so many things that we just don't know about. So it's part of PPTA's job to try to fill that knowledge gap and say, hey, if you have never thought about donating plasma, please think about it because there are patients in need.
Is there a downside for a person who donates their plasma? I mean, are there some kind of issues that may occur with that donation?
The short answer is no.
Okay.
Anybody who is over age 18 and weighs 110 pounds or more can donate plasma. But when you go into a plasma donation center, just like you would if you were donating blood, you'll get a questionnaire to make sure there aren't certain medicines you're taking or there's something in your medical history. You get a basic checkup, your blood pressure, your iron levels. Of course, it helps to be really well hydrated and have had a balanced meal. The interesting thing about plasma is that it regenerates very quickly in the body. When a person donates plasma, there's a process where the plasma is separated from the red blood cells that go back to the donor. And plasma it actually regenerates quite quickly in the body. And that's why you can actually donate plasma more often than you can donate blood.
So you won't possibly pass out like I do when I donate blood?
Well, I think there are always what we call adverse events, right? So you could start feeling dizzy. I've been there myself, so I hear what you're saying. You know, feeling a little dizzy, lightheaded. Sometimes people might have minor bruising, just like after you've done a blood donation. So I would say the safety profile is very, very good, but also some of the minor events that people have are similar to blood donation. So definitely in that same family.
So what else are you doing? I want to talk to you, too, about your Plasma Protein Forum this month on the 14th and 15th in Alexandria. But before we get to that, I want to know, darn it, see, I'm old now. I totally forgot what I was going to ask her because I interrupted myself.
I do that all the time.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about the Plasma Protein Forum, shall we?
Absolutely. So PPTA is actually a global organization, like I mentioned earlier, and we have our headquarters in the U.S. in Washington, D.C., and then we also have an office in Brussels to work with the European Parliament and European Commission.
Wow.
Every year we have two big conferences, and the spring conference is somewhere in Europe. I know you can feel bad for me. We're going to Milan
poor baby.
Here next year. We were just recently, I know, poor Anita, I know. But our fall conference is in either Washington, D.C. or in the Washington, D.C. area. Okay. And what happens at the Plasma Protein Forum is there's a chance to make the connection between the donors of plasma and patients, to hear patient stories. PPTA is also a science-based organization. We do research on donor health and safety. We advocate on Capitol Hill and in the Parliament in Brussels, and we work with regulators like FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. And so all of these kind of topics are addressed at the Plasma Protein Forum. And it also helps bring our members together as a community and to remind them why the people that work in these companies do what they do every day and the impact it has on patients. I'm going to be moderating a panel, for example, on a therapy called anti-D. There are cases where a mom and her unborn baby have a rare blood incompatibility where it could actually end up harming the newborn.
Oh, no.
But if the mom gets a therapy called anti-D, that stops those complications. So it's amazing. And we're going to be talking to very special anti-D plasma donors. We're going to be talking to recipients and doctors who utilize this therapy. So I always look forward to the Plasma Protein Forum because I learn something new, I get to meet new people, and it truly brings the community together around our common mission.
Well, let me just say your job is not boring, but And it sounds like it's on the forefront of a lot of...
I don't think yours is either.
Honey, this is not my job. This is Richard's job. I'm just helping him out while he's taking a much-needed break. So, but if it was my job, yes, you're absolutely right.
That's wonderful.
But I also wanted to ask you, I don't think that we necessarily need to be political, but I do have a political question for you. In this changing, crazy climate, how have you, in terms of lobbying or working with our government, has the way you've approached them changed? Has the way they're treating you changed? What's that looking like?
I would say that this has been a time of rapid change, more so than we've probably ever seen. And that's honestly not a political statement. It is the reality of what we're facing in Washington. We work very closely with members of Congress. We have an excellent government affairs person who has helped develop what we call a plasma caucus. Some of them healthcare professionals who really understand the need for these medicines. So those are our champions on Capitol Hill. When it comes to working with the current administration, PPTA works with every administration, full stop. But it has been challenging at times with the flurry of either executive orders. Clearly, manufacturers of medicines are concerned about the potential of tariffs. So we work in every way we can with our contacts at the Department of Commerce, the U.S. Trade Representative's office. And then our colleagues in Brussels are actually doing the same to try to prevent reciprocal tariffs from Europe. So the pace of work, the nonstop vigilance that it takes right now, I'm so grateful for my team because their workload has increased exponentially. But we're going to do everything we can to make sure that individuals in this administration understand how unique plasma-derived medicines are. They're not made in a lab, not made from an active pharmaceutical ingredient. They are from plasma donated here in the United States and in Europe. And so we hope that they understand the unique nature of these therapies and the rare disease patients who are relying on them when they make any policy decisions. And that's what motivates us every day.
Wow. Thank you for that, Anita. Thank you so much. I have another question for you in terms of being a donor. How long does the process take? And that's my first one. I'll follow up.
Sure. So it does take longer than donating blood. And especially the first time that you go to a plasma donation center, because the intake is, and the wellness check that you get to make sure you're healthy for donating plasma, it takes longer. And I mentioned earlier that there is this process called plasmapheresis. So the whole blood comes out just like during a blood donation. The plasma is separated, and then the donor gets back red blood cells and any other cellular components, along with some saline, which helps rehydrate the body. That process takes longer, and so you need to be ready to spend a little bit more time there. I would say, an hour and a half for the first visit.
Oh my gosh!
The donation process itself can take about 45 minutes. So it's a bit of a time commitment, but it is so important, and what we're so excited about. Part of the reason we're doing this Awareness Week is to say thank you to our donors. They come back regularly. There is so much great of a need for plasma that many of them they form a community within the plasma donation center. So it is a very unique experience.
I love that. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you say that when the blood is separated from the plasma, that the blood goes back in me?
That's exactly right. It's a self-contained, highly regulated, and safe process. The plasma is kept, but the red blood cells, the cellular components, go back to the donor. And plasma regenerates very quickly in the human body. It's really interesting, and that's why you are able to donate plasma more often than donating whole blood.
That makes sense.
Donating whole blood, the regulations say it's once every 8 weeks or so. With plasma, you can actually donate up to 2 times a week.
Wow.
And we really need some of these regular healthy donors, because I think what people also don't realize is why we need so much of it. So all that plasma that is collected goes through this long manufacturing process to get to those proteins and antibodies that help these patients. But it can take more than 1,000 plasma donations, for example, to treat one person with hemophilia for a year. 1,000 donations. That's how much is needed to be pooled together to go through this long safety and efficacy road to get to these medicines that people are waiting for.
So let me ask you a question I'm sure that people are thinking about. Do you pay for those donations?
Yes. Our plasma donation centers, they do offer some level of compensation, which varies by region. This is done through a debit card system. And we actually see that through that compensation program, how much money is actually spent in the local community around these donation centers. It is an incentive, but I also need to point out it is not the only incentive or reason why people donate plasma. They may know someone who needed it.
Sure.
It can be used in emergency situations like trauma or burns. It can be a helpful component for immune systems for people going through cancer treatment. So there are so many uses for plasma, and sometimes donors come in because they say, I want to give back because I know someone. Or sometimes maybe it is the compensation that motivates them to come in for the first time, but then they keep donating because they understand the impact on patients around the world.
Yeah, it becomes more about helping than money. But and I'm all about it. But I do think it's good that you do offer a little stipend. I think that's helpful to both sides, right? To the person who's the donor and to the person who's receiving the donation. So thank you for doing that.
It certainly is. Yes, it certainly is. And sometimes people that donate are students, or they may be employed part-time. They may be retired. Anybody 18 and up who's healthy is eligible to donate plasma.
Yeah. Very nice. Now, Anita, before we go, tell me a little bit about how you became involved with this organization.
Oh, well, I would love to. I have always been passionate about healthcare. And what drew me to this is I've worked in healthcare associations for many years. And my first one was in hospice and palliative care, actually. And then I worked in a self-care association dedicated to over-the-counter medicines, all those things that you get without a doctor's prescription. What drew me to PPTA was the connection back to the patient. When we are on Capitol Hill, in each of our groups that goes around to meet congressmen, congresswomen, senators, a patient is with us. Someone from the patient community always comes and starts out the conversation to frame why plasma-derived medicines are critical and how they are unique. And when I learned more about that, as well as the global nature of the reach of this organization, I basically said, please sign me up.
I love that so much. And when it makes perfect sense to me when you talked about your hospice experience. I think that people who work in and around and with hospice patients are angels. I think I can't even imagine. I was a caretaker for my parents, and God bless you people. Seriously, the hospice people rock. I don't care.
They really do. And I think what's similar in both these cases, that's another area that people don't talk about enough or know enough about. And in this case, the people that rely on plasma-derived medicines, these patient groups, they bring together people who sometimes they're the only person they know who has this disease. And that patient community needs to come together and needs to have a voice. So for me, it is a mission-driven organization to raise awareness for this need. And yeah, that's why we're doing this tour, so that hopefully someone out there will listen and say, I've never thought about plasma donation, but maybe I will, because who knows who that could be helping somewhere in the world.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. I hope Richard's listening. If he's not, he's going to listen to it later. And I am going to insist that he have you back. Even though I have no...
Oh, I would love it. Anytime, night or day, we'll be here.
Great, Anita. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay. All right, Chicago and all the rest of our WCPT listeners. I think we've had a pretty decent day today.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I had fun.
Me too. Absolutely.
Okay, stay tuned for Stephanie Miller. I've got 2 more days, right? 2 more days.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for staying with me. I hope that you have. I hope that we're not talking into the void. You guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. If you have children, they are always going to be your special bundle of joy. And if they're a newborn baby, you want to make sure what's best for them. So here are the best baby product companies that support the Democratic Party. Procter & Gamble. Now, Procter & Gamble owns Luvs, Pampers, and All Good. In 2024, Procter & Gamble gave $599,000 to the Democratic Party, 61% of their donations. Procter & Gamble supports the Democratic Party. Kirkland Diapers. Now, Kirkland Diapers are owned by First Quality. And First Quality does not give to politics, but their employees do, and their employees lean slightly to the left, as $50,000 are donated to Democrats in 2024. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
Still struggling with gas, bloat, constipation, nausea, or diarrhea? Have you tried eliminating foods but felt no change? It's time to call the tummy whisperer, Renee Barish, at Digestive Health Solutions. Renee uses targeted testing to reveal exactly what's happening in your gut. Gut bacteria,